Hello everyone. In the previous video, we successfully set up a Samba server. In this video, we'll explore advanced Samba configuration, where you can customize read and write permissions for each user. First, let's take a look at the permission model in this advanced configuration. We'll be sharing the Share3 folder, where the user Samba3 has read and write access, while guest or anonymous users will have read-only permission. Next, let's open the terminal and check the status of the Samba service. To make sure it's running properly before we start configuring. Next, we'll create a Samba user account named Samba3, which will be granted read and write access to the shared folder. Next, we'll also create a user group called Group Samba3, which will make it easier to manage access permissions for all users in the same Samba group. After that, let's add the newly created user to the group Samba3 so that this account will automatically inherit the group's access permissions. Similarly, if you have multiple accounts that require the same access permissions, just repeat the previous steps to add those users to the same group. Finally, let's verify to make sure the user has been successfully added to the group. Next, let's set a Samba password for the Samba3 account, so that this user can log in and access the shared folder. Set a password for the Samba3 account and make sure to remember it. Next, let's enable the Samba3 account so this user can log in and accessing the shared folder. Now, let's navigate to the directory we want to share. Here, we'll create a folder named Share3, and this will be the shared directory used in our advanced Samba configuration example. Now we'll set the ownership for this directory. It will be assigned to the root user and the group Samba3, ensuring that only members of this group can access and modify its contents. Next, we'll set the access permissions for the directory. Members of the group will have read, write, and execute access, and while guest or anonymous users will have read and execute permissions only. These permissions will also be automatically inherited by any new files and subfolders created inside. Alright, we'll edit the Samba configuration file, where we'll define the shared directory and its access permissions. After opening the file, scroll down to the bottom of the configuration file. Next, let's add the sample configuration I've prepared here to the end of the file. This section will define the shared folder, Share3. First, this line is the name of the shared folder. This is what users will see when they browse the network. The path line specifies the actual directory on the server. Next, this line means this folder will appear when users browse available network shares. The line is yes allows guest users to access the share without logging in. Next, read-only equals yes makes the share read-only by default, so users can view but not modify files. However, write list grants write access to all members of the group Samba3 group. And force group ensures that all files and folders created inside this share automatically belong to that group, keeping permissions consistent. Next, Create mask sets the default file permissions. The owner and group can read and write, while others can only read. Finally, directory mask defines default permissions for new folders and ensures they inherit the group Samba3 group automatically. Now let's save and close the configuration file. Next, let's restart the Samba service to apply the changes we've just made. Next, let's check the Samba configuration file to make sure there are no syntax errors. If the result shows loaded services file OK, it means our configuration file is valid. Alright, we've finished configuring Samba. Now let's check the server's IP address, which we'll need when connecting from another computer. Alright, now let's switch to another computer on the same network and test the connection to the shared folder we just configured. On your Windows computer, open the Run dialog. Then enter the IP address of the Samba server that we checked earlier. First, let's test the connection using an anonymous account to see if guest users can access the shared folder's contents. As you can see, the anonymous account can access the shared folder, which means they can view the contents but don't have permission to write or modify anything inside. Now let's authenticate using the Samba3 account we created earlier to test the read and write permissions on this shared folder. Here, enter the IP address of the Samba server, along with the Samba3 username and the password we created earlier. After that, access the shared folder again. And we'll check whether the Samba3 account can create, modify, or delete files inside it. As you can see, the Samba3 account can create, edit, and delete files within the shared folder, which means we've successfully configured read and write permissions for this user. I hope this helps you set up and manage Samba shares more effectively. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more useful tutorials. Thank you for watching.